Did you like that?
Yeah, that was
like that little
good one.
joke. Okay, so as far as remakes go and reboots, so we have a lot of unnecessary remakes that have happened. We've got Ghostbusters. I'm sorry, it was unnecessary. It didn't need to happen.
I mean, that's fair.
Okay.
In retrospect, still very fair.
We had Total Recall.
Yeah, very unnecessary.
We had RoboCop.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ben-Hur, which apparently is getting horrible reviews.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I never even saw the original,
Which
so it doesn't matter.
apparently this is like either like the fourth or the fifth version of Ben-Hur that has been created since that book was written in like the 1800s or whatever.
Yeah. Wasn't Charlton Heston Ben-Hur at one point?
Probably.
I
honestly don't know. I do know, though, that the original Ben-Hur, like the 1959 one, won like 11 Oscars, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
And see, so like they're remaking King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming out, and we had a
it's
King
like
Kong.
It's hard to tell about the King Kong,
Right.
one, whether it's a remake or a reboot or
just
a different.
But we had a
universe
King
entirely.
Kong remake already.
Yeah.
Not too long ago.
The
Peter
Peter Jackson
did it.
one.
I say not too long ago. It was like 10 years ago.
It was, yeah.
But when you get older, it doesn't, time
it all kind of
has
blends
changed.
together, yeah.
But then before that, in the 80s, we had a King Kong remake, or was it the late 70s that had freaking Sarah Connor in it? The one
Really?
that, yeah.
Laura, whatever. Yeah, but 1984 Terminator, Sarah Connor.
Right, yeah. And it's like, for King Kong, okay? Iconic movie from like the birth of the golden age of cinema.
Yeah.
But do people now, in 2016, care about King Kong?
I mean, they might when Tom Hiddleston is in the movie.
Right? We keep having these American Godzilla reboots and remakes. The one that came out, in the late 90s, early 2000s?
With Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, that was a flop.
Yeah, and it was terrible.
This last one, I mean, I think it did all right, but it didn't make a huge splash.
And it wasn't very good.
But the Japanese, they keep making making their own Godzilla movies, and they're just like, fuck you, Americans. We're going to do it with the guy in the rubber suit, and it's going to be awesome. But do modern audiences care about these old properties? These old properties? You had that Victor Frankenstein movie, and it flopped. Okay? Dracula Untold, it flopped. You've got these golden age monster movies, these properties that just don't capture the imagination of audiences these days.
Well, like the Dracula Untold and the I, Frankenstein is Universal's attempt to build a shared movie universe.
Well, I, Frankenstein is a different movie than Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I, Frankenstein
but Victor
had Two-Face in it.
Right, but Victor Frankenstein isn't actually related to the Universal monster movie universe that they're trying to build.
Oh,
I Frankenstein is, though.
I never saw it.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Stupid.
It did. It did absolutely look stupid. So I never saw it either. But it's supposed to be part of this stupid shared monster movie universe.
Universal monsters type thing.
Yeah, with all of those old, like, I think they're planning on making a Swamp Thing one too, or a creature from the Black Lagoon or whatever it is.
Is Marvel.
Yeah, Swamp Thing
would be awesome. Oh wait, no, Swamp Thing is what? Image? Marvel is Man Thing.
I have no idea. But
Speaking of which, and you know what? The old Swamp Thing movie from the 80s and the television show on USA was awesome, and I fucking loved it. And Return of the Swamp Thing was just campy and just totally crazy. And if you've never seen those, definitely give them a shot. Check it out.
Yeah.
And I think Swamp Thing is prime for a remake.
Dude, Swamp Thing actually would be, from what I've read, and granted, like, I've never seen that movie or the USA series
it was great.
you were talking about, but like from what I've read about that character, it seems like it would
Same
be really
actor that
interesting.
played Swamp Thing in the original movie, Return of the Swamp Thing, he also played him in the USA series.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to remake a movie or remake a property, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Let's do it. What's some other movies that we think would be good for remakes or prime for a reboot?
Okay, so, and this was a couple weeks back that we were talking about,
Excuse me.
that we were talking about, The Sword and the Stone, because Disney is making so many of those older movies remade with live action actors and stuff.
Yeah,
they
just
Sword
did
and the Stone. They just did Pete's Dragon. They're doing Beauty and the Beast
They did
next.
The Jungle Book.
They did Cinderella. They did the Jungle Book. Yeah.
Yeah, all that.
So I feel like absolutely it's time for a Sword in the Stone remake.
A Sword in the Stone, Black Cauldron.
Ooh, as much as I would love to see the Black Cauldron done, I mean, because that was it, like the prime time prior to the golden age of Disney cinema, where it just tanked like everything.
Right.
The Black Cauldron did. But I read those books, and I loved those books when I was a kid, and I would love to see them remade. I just don't know if we can.
So here's a movie that I watched the other day that I think that that's prime for a remake is The Neverending Story.
I could see that.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see it like in this day and age of filmmaking and in the way that we have special effects and everything. I loved the original movie when I was a kid. I had a VHS tape that had the animated Hobbit movie on it. It had The Neverending Story, and it had The Last Starfighter, all recorded off of HBO. Dude, I wore that tape out. Yeah. And I hadn't watched The Neverending Story probably in 10 years. And then I watched it again the other night. And I was just like, man, this is awesome. And like, and Artax dies. And I'm just getting
the
all
Swamp of
teary
Sadness.
and everything. But I would love to see a remake of that, especially because there was 2 sequels that came out for The Neverending Story, and they were just so horrible. just terrible. Like the one with Jonathan Brandis in it was shit. And
I never saw the third one. I never saw the third one.
So you want to talk about the third one for a second? Okay, it's called Escape from Fantasia. It doesn't have Jonathan Brandis. It doesn't have the kid that played Bastian in the original movie.
Right.
It's got the kid from fucking Free Willy, and it's got Jack Black in it. He's like the villain.
What?
Okay, yeah, he's this like thug at high school that terrorizes Bastian. Okay. So it's really bad. It's really, 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 really bad. Like Falcor talks like a retard. He's like, "Hey, Bastian, don't you?" But here's the worst part, and I never finished the movie. I turned it off when the rock biter was on his rock bicycle singing "Born to Be Wild."
What?
Yes.
What is happening in my life right now?
Right, and I haven't finished it. And I've never given it a shot since. I remember renting it because I was like, I love The Neverending Story. Let's see if this is going to be any good. Because it's one of those things that, like, if you see something and it's related to something that you like, you want to give it a shot. And it was just terrible.
Yeah.
It was absolutely terrible. Had absolutely nothing to do with the books or anything like that.
Well, of course. And you mentioned the book. Now, like, my question to you is, do they make your Neverending Story reboot more closely akin to the book?
Why not?
Where Atreyu is a green-skinned, like, alien-looking dude, and
Artax talks.
Yeah, and Artax talks, and Bastian
becomes evil and fights Atreyu.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, they should. Epic 3-part trilogy, right? The Neverending Story, do 3 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have Peter Jackson direct it.
Bastian uses his memories to create all of Fantasia and wishes these fantastic things into existence, and then like dominates this world with his imagination.
Right.
It was so much. I've read that book several times.
I read it in the 4th grade.
It. I love that book. So I do kind of want to see, like, if they make a new Neverending Story, I want them to keep it more closely aligned to Michael End's book.
It would have to be more than one movie.
Yeah, it definitely would. Which I think is what they tried to do with the first Neverending Story and the sequel, because a lot of aspects of the Jonathan Brandis sequel are pulled out of the second half of that book.
But it's a lot different.
But it's incredibly different, and it's bad.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. The thing is, with the original Neverending Story, is there's some disturbing scenes in that movie. Like the Swamp of Sadness, and when he's talking to Morla, and
that turtle
Shell Mountain
scared the bejesus out of me.
Right.
when I was
scared
a kid.
the bejesus out of Bastion too, and he screamed, and they could hear him. And the Southern Oracle and the people walking through the gates and getting shot down, and Gamork the fucking wolf dude. Oh man, I want to watch that movie again.
Right. I want to watch it right now, just so that it can terrify me all over again.
Right. So, yeah, if you're out there listening, Hollywood, if you're gonna reboot or remake anything, why not give the Neverending Story a shot? It deserves a better chance than what it got with the 2 sequels that came after it. It deserves more.
Exactly.
All right, so we're gonna move on. We'll talk about another kind of remake spin-off type deal.